What's up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with another breakdown after an entire week off. We are back with a little bit of a card this weekend, just a tiny one involving Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor 3. Not for a title somehow, but once again shows that you don't always need titles involved for the biggest fights. This is a title fight, all intents and purposes. It's I don't know why they made the interim, but we could get into a whole podcast on interim title fights. What up, Derek Lewis? And we'll move on from those though. I'm here not alone. As always, I'm here with my UFC breakdown co-host, eventual UFC fighter Bryan Pooh Bear Battle. And this week we are joined by a very special guest, regular in the comments, so we're taking away one of our many viewers here and adding them to the stream, but it's Miss Dustin comments herself. Bunny, what up?
What's going on, gentlemen?
It's great to have you here. For the smallest of cards here, you're a slight Dustin Poirier fan, just to get that out for those who are uneducated. Yeah, if anybody's been following this channel or following me over when I was on my other previous channel, Boston Comments, a name you would see routinely in the comments or YouTube or both sections. So appreciate you making the time to come on, Bunny. Of course, Bryan, we appreciate you being
Boston
on. Finally,
the first comment I ever saw.
Yes, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Absolutely. She definitely she lives up to her name. We're going to be bringing three very different perspectives to the podcast tonight. So I'm super excited for that. As always, I will be, focusing on betting lines, focusing on maybe some different aspects in that way. However, Bunny down here, she doesn't care about odds. We're eventually, we're working on a trade eventually, but she doesn't really care about odds. It doesn't really mean anything to her when I say that Ryan Hall is a plus 200 underdog after the last several weeks of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizards doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. People still don't believe in Jiu-Jitsu, but whatever. We'll talk about that soon. I don't want to tip my hand too much, but she's not going to be bringing that betting perspective. She is all heart. If you remember my last breakdown over on my previous channel, she was on with me, picked 6 underdogs, and got 4 of them. So,
all heart, man.
Yeah.
I watched that fight, and that's how I make it.
But absolutely, Chico is all for it too. But yeah, Bryan, as always, brings his perspective as the man who actually is in there doing the damn thing. If you're not caught up on The Ultimate Fighter right now, I don't know what you're doing, but please do so. And hopefully my dogs will stop barking here soon because I can't really get up and do anything about it. So,
let's get started.
264. Let's get on started here.
A quick thing on the Ultimate Fighter.
Go ahead, Bryan.
This fight that's coming up this week is absolute gas diesel fire. Brady fighting Josh is for the king of Washington. Both these guys are from the same place. It is a great fight. No spoilers. I'm just telling you. Tune in. You won't regret it.
Fuck yes.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I apologize. Chico was just amped to start, but the Ultimate Fighter, it has definitely been focused on the fights, which is what I'm there for. Maybe because there's been a little less drama, but either way, go check out, see how Bryan did. We don't want to spoil it if you haven't been caught up. But definitely check it out. And we're going to hop into this card. So far, 13. Yeah, check it out. ESPN Plus. I mean, if you're not signed up for ESPN Plus at this, if you're not signed up for ESPN Plus at this point, I'm not sure what you're doing. You're missing out on a lot of good fights, both in PFL and prelims, as well as the Ultimate Fighter. So, we're gonna jump in.
YouTube like the next day anyway. So there's no excuse.
Bryan Battle fights are no stranger to YouTube. There is a lot of Bryan battle tape on YouTube. All you have to do is type it in. Yeah, and not many of them breaking down fights, although he's starting to get known for that too, hopefully here. But unfortunately, in the description, one more piece of housekeeping before we go. Fernando Padilla, he does have a fight that was announced between him and Sean Soriano for October 8th, which seems like it's really far away, but we're in the middle of July all of a sudden. So, yeah, that's like, 2-3 months away, and it's definitely a very important fight for him. He's fighting a guy who's fought in the UFC 6 times. He had to go to the gym early, so we'll catch Fernando before October for sure. Things happen. Bryan knows this all too well.
Yeah.
You got to prioritize. So it's all the more reason I'm personally humbled that Bryan makes the time to be on this show every week as he's in the middle of kind of the most important stage of his career.
Right. Thanks, Bryan.
Yeah, thank you, Bryan.
Hey, I'm just happy to be here.
You know what? Shout out. Yeah, shout out to Dave. Shout out to everybody else out there who's watching. We appreciate you guys. But we are going to hop into a 13-fight UFC card here. We fortunately don't have the major pullouts here other than obviously Luis Smolka, Sean O'Malley, and that whole fiasco. And then Sean Brady was supposed to fight Kevin Lee, and that fight's been rescheduled for later like August, September. So hopefully we still get that. It's kind of weird because I'm seeing Kevin Lee all over Instagram training very, very openly. So I don't really know what that's about, but Sean Brady will beat him regardless of when they fight. So there's a free bit of breakdown for you. But we jump in
hot take and early hot take.
I'm just saying we jump in with what you'll find sometimes on these huge cards. You'll find Bill. No, this is not where you sign up for the free for all, Bill. But how you doing? No one else is gonna understand that joke, and it's not gonna be explained here.
I got it.
Here's Bill. Bill's asking about something that doesn't exist here, but it's a movie trivia inside joke. I do movie trivia, and that's one of my movie trivia friends, Bill Carriola. So shout out to him for making the quick stop over when he doesn't know anything about MMA. Appreciate you coming over, man. But what I was saying, with the first fight here, it's at 185. It's one of these fights that often comes on these major big cards. Fight between, frankly, two people who don't belong in the UFC. They're going to sneak onto these kind of cards. For two reasons, in my opinion. One reason is because most of the people who are showing up for this card are going to show up with 5 minutes before the main event. They're going to pay $10,000 per seat, and they don't care about MMA. So you're going to be essentially, for at least these first few fights, doing what they've been doing for the last year, which is basically an empty arena where you're going to be able to hear everything. However, it is the big octagon here. We're out of the Apex, we're into the MGM, so it is the larger octagon. That's definitely going to play a factor. But yeah, Alan Amadovsky versus Yazong Hu, or Who's Yazong actually is how you say his name. These guys are not great. Totoro is Who's nickname. If you're an anime fan, Totoro is, I think, Studio Ghibli, so that's great. My Neighbor Totoro, very popular cartoon movie. Anime, didn't mean to say cartoon there, but yeah, Yao Zong is I don't even know if this is a salty, but it's 3-2. He's been off for 2.5 years since he lost to Rashad Coulter. He got submitted by Cyril Asker in his UFC debut at heavyweight. This is now at middleweight. His last fight was in November of 2018. His combined record of his opponents he'd faced in his 3 fights prior in Chinese MMA was a combined record of 2-4 total for those 3 opponents. So he has faced literally no one. And he's been off for 2.5 years. And he's coming down from light heavyweight in his last fight. Alan Amadovsky, 33 years old. Huzong was 26. Amadovsky, 33. 0-2 in the UFC. His debut, he got 30-25 by Krzysztof Jotko. He landed 6 total strikes in his UFC debut. Not great. He followed that up with a 14-second loss to John Phillips, who used to go as the White Mike Tyson. John Phillips cut by the UFC as he was not very good. Here we are. We've got a guy in Amidovsky who prior to UFC did have some experience in Bellator. He had 2 wins in Bellator, both under 2 minutes against decent opponents. Got a lot of knockouts on the Italian regional scene. To me, it's a first-round knockout for Amidovsky, or it's going to be kind of a boring, grinding decision for Hu Yaozong. I don't really know. This is like these are the 2 probably lowest-ranked guys in Bryan's division, so I'm kind of curious his thoughts here real quick. And then, Bunny, if you have any thoughts on 2 people, both of which, by the way, have been off for 2 years. They've both been off for 2 years. One's from Italy, one's from China.
Doesn't Who have 3 straight stoppages in a row? That stood out to me, but I still.
Well, 3 straight stoppages against combined 2 and 4 opponents in Chinese regional MMA.
Tomato cans.
And this is Bryan's division. Bryan would be a minus 200 or more against both these guys. I will just say that first and foremost. What are your kind of thoughts on this fight, Bryan?
Yeah,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bryan. Oh, a dog there.
It is funny, dude. Because, I like, you pull this up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, all right, who are the people I got to look up? And, there are so many really good fighters on this card. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some of the best fighters in the world. And then at the bottom, I click on this dude I've never heard of. He's 3-2. I'm like, well, I mean, those 3 wins must have been pretty impressive. Like, I had to look them up. I was like, those 3 wins had to be really impressive, and they were not. They were not impressive. I was like, who is this man's agent? Who does he know? Because at least my man Allen, he had like an impressive, like his UFC showing hasn't been amazing, but at least he had like an impressive career outside the UFC.
Right.
My man, who? Man. But the biggest problem is, like, you don't really know. Like, he's taking 2 years off. He's dropping down to 85. So he could come in and be a totally different person.
I don't think so.
No, I'm not picking this.
I don't think so.
I got Allen by. Yeah, I mean, because Allen, he's an aggressive guy. He's got.
Look at his last name. That's like.
Hands. He has the ability to finish people. So I'm taking Allen to finish Hu because Hu is someone he probably would have knocked out on the regional scene. So, but maybe my man shocks the world.
Yeah, this is one where if you get it wrong, you shouldn't feel bad as an analyst.
Yeah.
Like this is the one that it's like
Nobody knows.
Whoever's going, I knew it after this one. Who's not one of these people's mothers is lying because they did not.
Yeah.
The other thing I just want to mention real quick, and then I want Bunny, if you want to make a pick on this highest of high picks, you can, of course, but is that Hu Yaozong, he was training over at Tiger Muay Thai. I do love that camp. In all seriousness, that's an awesome camp. However, his entire corner was not able to make the trip over. He actually had to make the trip over late due to visa issues. So he made it in late this week. He's making his first cut to 185 of his career. He's beat a total of 2-4 record in his career. But I mean, the one thing he showed in both his fights, especially against Rashad Coulter, is he can take a punch. Rashad Coulter came into that fight 211 for a 205 fight, landed everything he could on Hu Yaozong and didn't get him out of there. And Yaozong won the 3rd round. So if this does get out of the 1st round, I think Yaozong could use that wrestling and size to cash in a gross decision. So I'll disagree with Bryan. I'll say Hu Yaozong. I'll take Hu Yaozong by decision. Yep. And Bunny to break the tie.
I got Allen, man. TKO, dog. But
nice.
I had to look at both these fighters. I was like, who the fuck?
Yeah, this is just what they kind of trickily do on a card with like some huge names. Is I think the prelims are solid for this card, but I've seen way better prelim cards on way smaller cards, interestingly enough. So I do think the UFC knows what they're doing. They know that you're tuning in for that main event, and they can get away with some Amadovsky versus Yao Zong type of matchups. And you're just going to be like, yes, yeah, Daddy Dana. At least I am. At least I am. Like, so.
I mean, at the end of the day, as long as these guys come out and have a banger, I mean, I don't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, I think both these guys are. Yeah, both these guys are fighting for their job. Whoever loses is getting a pink slip before they leave the octagon. So that's, huge pressure for sure. This is the part where Bunny's going to tune out for a brief moment as I try to talk. Amadovsky minus 135 favorite, plus 115 for Yao Zong. All of the degenerate gamblers who are betting on this have decided Yao Zong's the underdog. I'm going to bet on him because I want to hit an underdog. And if Amadovsky was the underdog, we'd see the same line movement. But for Amadovsky ended up the favorite. I do think Amadovsky should be the favorite. He has faced a better level of competition, the 2 wins in Bellator. One thing, though, that I have been noticing, though, is these guys who've had good success over in Bellator, when they've not gotten re-signed to Bellator, they've gone and kind of shit the bed in other organizations. We saw Jordan Williams a couple weeks ago in PFL against Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler, who hadn't won an MMA fight in 5.5 years, who was a wrestler in Japan, like a WWF wrestler for the last 2 years, came in and beat Jordan Williams. Williams looked like he'd never grappled in his life. And Williams had went 3-0 over in Bellator, and Bellator let him go. So Bellator knows their shit. We've seen it with what they've done with AJ McKee and many others that they've grown from there. And they let go of Amadovsky after he was 2-0. And he went over to the UFC, got 30-25, then knocked out in 14 seconds. So, either way, just bet this one with caution if you're betting it. I've got Yao Zong. You guys got Amadovsky. I got the underdog to start the night. Next fight. What'd you say?
I said hi, Elliot. So someone popped up in the chats.
No, yeah. What up, Elliot? And
Aaron.
Yeah, no, I did. I thought those were teeth. I was like, why is he putting teeth? Yeah, sorry, I'm not used to seeing bunnies in my chat.
Speaking of odds, and I know
it's
Sean O'Malley's odds. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. That just gives me a headache.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. This next fight has pretty crazy odds too, but probably makes sense. It's a 125 flyweight never dies between Zhalgas Zhumagulov and Jerome Rivera, the Renegade. I will break down him first. 26 years old, out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Former LFA veteran. So I remember watching him back on LFA. I was all excited about this guy. He's getting ready to fight Brandon Royval back on LFA, back before Royval was anybody in the UFC. And 40 seconds into that fight, he fell back and dislocated his arm. Jerome Rivera did. And that was that for that fight. And the reason I bring that up is that's kind of Jerome Rivera in every big fight he's ever been in, unfortunately, is he just kind of slips either metaphorically or literally in the case of that fight. But his UFC career, I know we just kind of got through talking shit about 2 UFC careers. Not great here. 0-3 so far in his UFC career. He won on the Contender Series, a decision that I frankly think he did not win. He did not get a contract from Dana. Came in on short notice to face Tyson Nam. Tyson Nam knocked him out. Then faced the $600 stimulus check Figueiredo Francisco. Figueiredo got dominated by Francisco Figueiredo. Then came back against Odi Osborne, another guy who's supposed to fight at 125. They ended up fighting at 140 because it was short notice. Odi Osborne knocked him out in 26 seconds after Jerome Rivera threw a naked leg kick. It seems that Jerome Rivera, if he's going to have a resurgence, it's not going to be happening in the UFC, in my opinion. He's still only 26 years old. He came in, I think, a little too soon, maybe. And, he's lost to 3 guys They're very good. We're into our fourth fight here, that fighter I'm breaking down, and we're yet to talk about a guy with a UFC win. Because Zhalgas Zhumagulov also 0-2 in his UFC career so far, unfortunately. Lost to Amir Albazi in his last fight. Amir Albazi, a very good Swedish prospect. And then was on the short end of a decision against Paiva. You could have seen him winning. Some could have, but I was fine with the decision. But Zhumagulov definitely has looked a lot better than Rivera. Before coming into the UFC, had some big wins over guys like Tagibir Ulabekov, who is in the UFC now, Ali Bagutinov, who used to be a pretty decent guy in the UFC. Has a finish over another Bagutinov who is undefeated, who I assume is good, but it's just some Russian guy. Also beat Tyson Nam. So Zhumagulov is the pick here for me. I think that he has shown that he's a little bit of a slow starter. That's what's cost him so far. He's a Muay Thai style striker. These Muay Thai guys often kind of take that first round to gauge and measure a little too much in MMA. So that's one of my concerns, but definitely a battle of we got winless flyweights here, as Brandon says. You're correct, but I'm going to take the winless flyweight of Zhalgas Zhumagulov. I think that Zhalgas could get a finish in this one. Jerome Rivera has some really bad striking habits, throws naked leg kicks all the time. It's what cost him against Odie Osborne. I'm not sure if he's corrected that, and the jiu-jitsu hasn't really translated to the UFC. So I'll take Zhalgas here. What do you got, Bunny?
Bunny has anyone ending with a name ending in OV. That's just like that's
fair.
But I have it going to decision. I don't see it being a very eventful fight, to be honest.
Hey, well, decisions can be eventful. We are not we're not anti-decisions here. I just want to grab this comment real quick from Brandon. Yeah, I really don't care about press conferences, dude. Like at all. Like in fact, I'm almost going to start looking at when the press conferences are and start booking my programming against the UFC press conferences.
I love it.
Because like fuck that. I don't give a shit about what. I don't care if Conor's is DMing is what. Anyways, like Bryan, what are your kind of thoughts on this fight?
Highlights for press conferences. I can't sit and watch.
Yeah. Send me a good edit with like.
Yeah, let me get like a 6-7 minute clip of all the important stuff. let me like the just like the highlights. But no, in this fight, it is funny because I'm happy you brought it up too. Because when I was looking up, it's funny because you got Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier on the biggest fight which is probably the biggest fight of the year. I think that's fair to say. And the first 4 fighters to fight have no wins, and that's kind of funny. Now, granted, these two guys with them having no wins in the UFC is a lot different than the past two guys, because past two guys it didn't even really seem like either. Like that's the first fight. It seems like someone.
It's the 2 worst fighters in the UFC.
My man, this fight is a little bit different. Jerome, man, it's weird watching him fight because sometimes especially with his submission game, his striking isn't like gonna shock you, but it's solid striking. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something where it's like, okay, I can see that guy being in the UFC. But like you said, just kind of seems to have like these mental lapses every once in a while, or he just comes out and gets beat. Zhalgas isn't. He doesn't really seem to have like that tremendous power, but his striking is so technical. He has a great flow with the striking, and I just see him outstriking him for 3 rounds. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. I don't see any KOs, but I can see him just putting it on him for.
Coach Bunny in the house. She's critiquing your breakdown right now, Bryan. She's like, I'm not sure. This is technical enough.
Whoa! Oh, snap.
No, that's all notes about the fights. Trust me, there ain't a thing about anybody but the fighters on there.
No. But no, I think Zhalgas. I think this could be like a fun fight. This could be a pretty fun fight, but I think my man Zalgas just outstrikes him for 3 rounds.
Yeah. Of Zalgas, however, we've got an 0-2 guy in the UFC who is a minus 335 favorite. This is a problem.
Minus 335.
Yeah. What that means, if you're not familiar with betting out here, if you're newer to betting, that means you have to bet $335 to win 100 on Zalgas Zhumagulov. That is a ridiculous price to pay on an 0-2 flyweight in a fight where both guys need to win to keep their job. Neither guy has shown they can win in the UFC yet. I wish I could see an angle to take Jerome Rivera at plus 270 because those odds are rough, but I gotta go with Zhumagulov. But it will not be when I'm betting too heavily. So I do agree that most likely it goes to a decision. But even that with Zhumagulov, you're not going to get a great price on him. I mean, he's a minus 335. So pretty much bet out of that one. But next fight here, this is a fight where we have 2 guys with multiple UFC wins. So everybody take a drink, take a breath. We are in the UFC with guys who belong to be here. 185. This is a hell of a fight, too. I think it's one of the closest fights on the entire card. This fight could easily be on the main card, in my opinion. But they're kind of deciding this is kind of the time where some of that Vegas crowd's going to start to be filing in a little bit. So let's bring them in with some guys who we've actually heard of. Omari Akhmedov taking on Brad Tavares. Alec, what up? Thank you for joining us here. Glad to see Alec. Definitely check him out. Yeah, he's great dude though. So yeah, good to start seeing some of the old folks making their way over to the new spot.
Spoiler for those who haven't seen the show. Don't read the comments.
Yeah, I mean, if you couldn't tell from Brian's face already, spoiler alert. But this fight, 185, Brad Tavares and Omari Akhmedov. Should be a really good one between 2 guys, 33 and a half years old. They're at identical points in their career, essentially 21-5 versus 18-6. Brad Tavares is 1 fight away from the all-time UFC record for most decision wins. He has 11 decision wins in his career. Brad Tavares does. So kind of surprises me, at least that surprises me. But yeah, he's got, I think, the 3rd most octagon time ever of over 4 hours in the octagon at this point. Just an insane amount. Yeah, it's an insane amount of experience. He's got he showed in his last fight against Antonio Carlos Jr., who now Antonio Carlos Jr. dominating over in PFL at 205, by the way. So this is a big-ass middleweight that he was able to just shuck away the takedowns on pretty easily. Brad Tavares has really good takedown defense for the most part. Trains out of Extreme Couture, Eric Nixick, obviously, Ray Sefo as well. So really good team there. Coming off that impressive decision back in January over Antonio Carlos Jr. For the most part, he does go to decision. As I said, 11 decision wins. But you kind of look at the guys he's lost to. He got put away very quickly by Edmund Shabazian. That was kind of when Edmund Shabazian was on a huge run, and I think he kind of beat Tavares before Tavares could get started. He went to I believe it was a 5-round. Let me check. Yeah, it was a 5-round decision against Israel Adesanya. So he went 5 rounds against Izzy at the Ultimate Fighter finale. Got put away by Whitaker very quickly. And then he was put away by Tim Boetsch also. So there is potential chin issues. You do also look at the guys who he has you do look at the guys that he's lost to, and for the most part, pretty elite wrestlers. Also, Yoel Romero, Aaron Simpson, Tim Boetsch, that kind of level. So you definitely beat it. I agree. Akhmedov, he is the most Russian person to ever Russian. I agree.
Name like that. You just don't. You don't pick a Russian. You pick a Russian name.
I mean,
go for it.
Yeah, but I love me some Hawaiians. Shout out to Max Holloway. Brad Tavares has been here a long time. Omari Akhmedov. He's the Wolverine. He's called the Wolverine for a reason. He's a little savage. 6'7", 73-inch reach. I do not believe he's 6 foot. I think that's a lie. Tapology lies a lot. He's coming off kind of a mauling of Tom Breeze, where Tom Breeze just had a terrible game plan in that fight. Tom Breeze had been doing some Polaris grappling, so he decided he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard now, Harry. And it turns out that Omari Akhmedov was a bear and just absolutely devoured him with that arm triangle second round. His only loss in his last 5 coming to Chris Weidman. I'm a huge Chris Weidman fan. And that fight was shout out to Chris Weidman. That he's having a really huge recovery already. But I was at his last fight, unfortunately, against and we know what happened there against Uriah Hall. But besides that, Omari has looked really good. Ian Heinisch, Zach Cummings, Tim Boach. Just he goes in there, rinse repeats with the takedowns. But Brad Tavares has killer takedown defense. Brad Tavares, that last fight, he just looked too good, man. I think Brad Tavares is not anywhere close to done. I think he's incredibly underappreciated and underrated in the UFC. And I think that once Omari gets those takedowns stuffed in the first round, by the second and third round, we're going to see a gassed Wolverine here. And I like Brad Tavares to get a UFC record-tying 12th decision win here against Omari Akhmedov. Takedown defense and movement, the bigger octagon, and on the feet, it's not even close.
Damn.
What are your thoughts? I'm going to go to you, Bryan, first. I'm curious with the middleweights here.
Man, I mean, like you said, this is a.
Can you move your mic just a little bit? You're just a little muffled.
Is it good?
Yep.
Perfect. Nah, man, dude, this is a really fun fight. Like, especially with it being the third fight on the prelims. Like, it's Brad Tavares. I mean, if you count the Ultimate Fighter, he's been in the UFC since 2010. Yep. That's a long time to be in the UFC. A really long time. And like you said, he's fought a who's who. I mean, going 5 rounds with Stylebender. I mean, you know, unless you're world class, normally you don't get to go 5 rounds with Stylebender. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, granted, he had some scary moments in that fight, but you know, he made it to the last bell regardless. And yeah, I mean, geez Louise. I mean, yeah, I mean, this guy.
This is your division, big boy. These are guys you're fighting in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's right. Middleweight, man. So make your pick.
Man, I can fight these guys this year. But let me not get too heated. I'm gonna stay focused. I'm gonna stay focused. My man Omar. I mean, dude, the guy, he's fun to watch everywhere, no matter where he is. I mean, you know, he fucking brings it. You know what I'm saying? He's got that like just mean, aggressive style. You know, I've seen him get hit a few times. I've seen him get kneed in the head and like not care at all. You know what I'm saying? That's just some Eastern European energy right there. With that being said, though, dude, like, so this fight is like, it was really tough for me. And so I'm just gonna go. Don't do the drum roll, dude. Don't do the drum roll. Man, yeah. It's just, I want to take. My heart says Brad, right? Like, I'm rooting for Brad to win because Brad just seems like a cool dude. I like the Extreme Couture connection, but man, Omar, he's just been a freaking. And like you said, I mean, Brad could break the record for decisions, but if my man Omar's track record keeps coming, going like it's been, he might could catch him in that record-breaking effort. I mean, he's got ways to go, but I mean, if you're talking about decisions, this man isn't shy of decisions himself. So I got Omar winning that decision.
Oh, okay. And we got Bunny to break the tie. Bring us home, Bunny. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this fight?
I have written down Omari by submission.
Oh.
And I'm sticking with it. I'm confident in this one. And I'm psyched for this fight. This is going to be a good one. So
I'm just real quick. Omari by submission. I'm just going to take a real quick look here. Brad Tavares, the last time he was submitted was, I'm going to keep scrolling for a second.
I wrote it down with confidence. I know exactly what's going to happen this fight.
I'm still scrolling. I don't know
Keep
if you can
scrolling,
see.
sweetheart. Keep
Oh, here we go. He was submitted back in March 2nd of 2010 against Court McGee.
And that's record will lead. He'll be submitted again in
there's
2021.
No, there is a chance. I frankly was hoping I was going to be scrolling that whole time and not seeing a submission. So I forgot about that submission. So I'm just going to pick up my pride and swing it over my shoulder here.
Confidence, Amari by submission. That's my pick.
No, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I think it's great. I know I can't. Trust me. Oh my God!
I'm excited to fight though. Either way, it's going to be a good fight.
I think this is a potential fight tonight. I think this is a really good fight as well. I'm kind of surprised here. Mari is a plus 140 underdog. Brad Tavares. I was expecting Brad Tavares to be a little more of a favorite though. Minus 165. The price has gotten closer. The money is coming in on Amari Akhmedov. So. Seems a lot of people are on your guys' side. I know you're not a better, Bunny, but if you bet that Amari submission, you could probably bet $100 and win about $1,500.
Maybe getting into it then, huh?
So maybe I'll make a bet in your honor and shoot you a Venmo. But next fight here is it's a fight. I'm not a huge fan of Jessica Ai. I'll say that much. So often when Jessica Ai fights come up, I don't exactly get too excited about them. I think Jessica Ai has kind of been not great for a long time now, and she just kind of keeps sticking around for some reason. Jennifer Maia, however, came off of a very impressive performance against the champion, Valentina, where she was able to pick up that second round, get some takedowns, and then proceed to lose the other 4 rounds. But, I mean,
with Shevchenko? Come on, man.
Right. And you look at what Shevchenko just did to Jessica Andrade in her last performance, where she landed like 15 takedowns in the first round or something. Absolutely madness.
She
but
mauled Andrade. That was.
I mean,
that's a hard watch point.
We all knew. I mean,
I picked Andrade going into that fight because I was like desperate. I was like, there's one of the 3 titles changing hands, which I was right about. I was like, it won't be Wong, it won't be Zhang. No way. She's got this. No way. She's so composed. She's not going to let the crowd get to her. She's got this. Nailed that one. I was like, it's definitely not going to be Masvidal. And so I was like, I guess that leaves me with Andrade. I was wrong. My bad. But live to pick another day. Jessica Evil Eye, I'm typically right on her fights because I typically don't pick her. So 15-9 for the 34-year-old now, out of Ohio, but now she's fighting out of Las Vegas. She used to be fighting out of Stipe's gym Strong Style, but she had a falling out there. And since then, she has gone on to lose. Since getting head kicked against Shevchenko, where it sounded like a baseball bat hitting a wiffle ball, she's gone 1 of 5. The one fight she won against Viviana Araujo, in my opinion, she lost. So really, she could be 0-4, not 1 of 3. She also lost a grappling bout in between there. She's lost to Cynthia Calvillo in a main event position where she was pre-dominated. And then Joanne Calderwood, another fight she was dominating, 2-1 on the feet. She also was taken down, I think, 3 times by Joanne Calderwood. Joanne Calderwood turning into a wrestler, not a good look, bro. Not at all. Jennifer Maia, 18-7-1, not a great record either, out of Curitiba, Brazil, where every Brazilian seems to be out of. 32 years old, has not fought since the Shevchenko loss at the end of last year. But before that, got an armbar win of Joanne Calderwood, lost the decision to Katlyn Chookagian, who, in my opinion, probably is the second best flyweight, third best flyweight in the world. So Jennifer Maia is somewhere in there, but definitely I think Jennifer Maia is better than Jessica Ai. Got my statistician Brandon here. with the Jessica I 5-8-0-1 walking papers perhaps. Yeah, no, they're not keeping her as a gatekeeper if she loses this one. This will be a wrap on Jessica I's career. But the thing is, I'm taking Jennifer Maia by decision, but this is one I'm not betting. It's going to be such a sweat, and Jessica I just wins decisions she's not supposed to routinely. And I just think that I don't really have a super confident read, especially when I see the odds and how much I'm going to have to pay for a Jennifer Maia win when she's 18-7-1. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Jennifer Maia by decision. But when you look at the price, it's not worth the squeeze. What are your thoughts, Bunny?
I have her Maia by unanimous decision.
Just not a Jessica I fan?
I'm just, I mean, that everything we've talked about speaks.
Numbers speak volumes.
Yeah, this, just not a fan. Not really. I mean, I'm psyched for the whole card, but I'm not, I'm not jumping out of my seat for this fight either, honestly.
This is a fight that I'm honestly going to be making my food during. I always find a good steak fight to be able to make my food. And Jessica
Smith is going to say something stupid about this fight. Just calling it. Can I make a bet on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 100%. He's going to be like, what on earth are they doing in the octagon? It's gonna be so awful. This is all Conor McGregor's fault that this man's here.
You're damn right it is, Aaron.
It's Conor's fault that Stephen A. Smith is even showing up. Also, I don't know if you saw the celebrity list, but when they released the celebrity list, it was like all my least favorite people, like all on one page, like together. I was like, I'm really starting to question, like, if I should be associated with this. Maybe I'm just gonna become the official like Cage Warriors podcast.
No, PFL. I think PFL, and you're already on PFL. PFL is the most no nonsense MMA organization out there to me.
But they're owned by a bunch of celebrities like Wiz Khalifa and
are they really?
And, yeah, Wiz Khalifa's owned, but Wiz Khalifa actually trained. So shout out to Wiz.
Shout out to Wiz, baby.
Shout out
it's
to
owned by. It must be owned by the.
But yeah, your thoughts on Jennifer Maia, Jessica I? It's such a good fight that we're talking about Wiz Khalifa's Muay Thai training. That's how good of a fight this is.
Dude, I mean, honestly, if this is like foreshadowing at all, like the fact that we got distracted doing the breakdown of this fight is probably foreshadowing that we're gonna get distracted while the fight's going on. Yeah, nothing against. Yeah, honestly. Once again, 3 for 3. Just not a big Jessica I person. I picked her to beat Calderwood, and I learned my lesson. You know what I'm saying? Jessica I is like probably one of the more famous female fighters, and it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like more people know who Jessica I is than people know who Jennifer Maia is. Not that Jennifer Maia is any kind of world beater or anything, but at this point in her career, she is a much more
relevant,
much more relevant than Jessica I is. Yeah, Jessica I is kind of like,
Yes, here's the list, Brandon. This is the list. Other than Dave Chappelle, I was killing myself reading this list. I was just like, like just throwing up at this list of celebrities. I'm like, I hate
Donald
these
Trump gonna be there.
Of course, he's gonna be there.
Oh man, Colby Covington is going to be so heated. Colby Covington is going to be heated, man.
Some hot water with Colby right now.
This is the last thing I'll say about this fight, is that I call this Gustafsson syndrome. It's a lot of fighters. Dominic Reyes has suffered from it. A few other fighters have suffered. Thiago Santos suffered from this and lost both his kneecaps. Where you have your best performance in a loss to one of the best fighters in the world, and you're never the same after that loss. Like, everybody's like, wow, that was so awesome when Gustafsson almost beat John Jones, who rolled off the couch a week before the fight and was fucking high on blow. That was amazing when he almost beat him and lost. That was amazing when Jennifer Maia won a whole round against Valentina Shevchenko. That could very well be the peak of an 18-7-1 32-year-old fighter in Jennifer Maia. And if this is 29-28, I mean, they could say 29-28 Jessica, 29-28 Julia, like 28 or Jennifer. Sorry, I might have said Julia Maya, getting Julia Avila and Jennifer Maya confused. But
You talking
yeah,
about the panda?
that's just
You talking about the fighting panda?
I love the fighting panda, man.
Brandon, don't ever mention the Kardashians again on this podcast, please.
And how dare you?
Literally nobody cares.
And he gave me the lazy wink
I'm trying to
emoji.
remember which one's
He gave me the semicolon parenthesis, bro. He didn't even go into the menu to find the cute one. He gave me the fucking 1980s emoticon. God damn, Brandon. Come on. But unless anybody has anything else to say, Jennifer Maya is a minus 196 favorite. So I definitely don't like betting a minus 196 favorite when they're 18-7-1. Neither does Marty. Neither does Chico. It's always good when my dog's got my back. But either way, I do have Jennifer Maya. And I am looking forward to cooking my steak medium rare during that fight.
Wonderful, beautiful.
I know what I'm doing because it's going to be ready and piping hot for the next fight of the night because this is my fight of the night here. This is pure violence, this next fight. And this is, again, Bryan, I'm really just – how do you feel like that you're going to be facing murderers like this, like real soon? Because Dricus Du Plessis – was kind of, he was just a KSW guy a couple of fights ago. Gets over to UFC in his last fight against Marcus Perez. First guy ever to put Marcus Perez away by strikes. And then Trevin Giles coming off of a really good performance. Still only 28 years old. Also a full-time Houston cop still. So I think that's kind of a cool angle with Trevin that I do definitely respect. 14-2 for the former LFA champion, coming off of 3 straight wins against James Krause. The James Krause win was at 185. James Krause is a 155er. James Krause took it on 24 hours notice, and James Krause almost beat Trevin Giles. So that's to be said in that fight. And now James Krause is Trevin Giles' coach. So kind of a whole bunch of interesting little tidbits from that one. Then ended up taking Bevon Lewis really deep into the third round and putting him away with strikes. Really impressed in that one. The Roman Dolidze fight took Roman Dolidze's. It was a close fight. Honestly, I mean, this is just kind of one thing about Trevin. Sometimes he coasts a little bit too much for my liking. The other thing about Trevin, we can see a trend with Trevin's losses, and I'm going to see if anybody can pick it up for me. His amateur loss, guillotine choke. His first pro loss, guillotine choke. His second pro loss, guillotine choke.
Oh, he's susceptible to the guillotine, I think.
Yeah, I think he's a little. I think it's a little bit of a weak point.
He was susceptible to the guillotine.
I mean, he was as much as a year ago.
Here's the thing: guillotine defense isn't that hard to learn. Like, I feel like
so I do. We'll save that for the fighter segment of this breakdown because I'm not a fighter here. If you couldn't tell,
Bryan's a middleweight, so he knows.
But I definitely want to hear from you about that, Bryan, in a second because I was going to ask you about that. Dricus Du Plessis, 27 years old, 6'1", 76-inch reach for the South African. Again, had the first knockout finish of Marcus Perez in his debut. However, another thing that this guy has a lot of is guillotine choke finishes. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guillotine chokes in his last 8, 9, 10 wins.
That's absurd.
We've got a guy with guillotine issues on one end, a guy with guillotine attack on the other end. And yeah, it's just, I think that with Trevin Giles, though, I really like how he's been looking. Straight up, I do think that he got those guillotine chokes in back-to-back fights against Zach Cummings and Gerald Mearshart. They also came in the third round, so it could just be a kind of a case of you've gotten finished by a guillotine choke a few times here, but I do think guillotine choke defense is something you can learn. Du Plessis, I know he got that finish in the first round against Marcus Perez. Marcus Perez has been looking real rough. But even in that first round, Perez landed quite a few shots. Duplessis does have some defensive issues. He's just a wild man. He goes in there. He looks to attack. I think Giles has such a technical advantage with his jab, with his movement, the bigger octagon here, and the octagon experience Giles has. I do know Giles has had at least one fight he had to withdraw from due to anxiety panic issues. So kind of a similar issue that Tom Breeze had for a while. That being said, Giles has a win early on against Brendan Allen, a really good submission guy where he was able to submit him in LFA. And 2 third-round guillotine chokes are not enough for me to think, even with the amount of guillotine chokes Duplessis gets, that a guillotine's coming. But if Duplessis wins by a guillotine, I will cry. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to take Trevin Giles here. I think that jab and the movement is going to be the difference. I think it's going to be a decision for Giles. The first round, though, Duplessis could really come out there and look to kind of put it on him and could get the finish. But I'm going to take Trevin Giles. This is a potential fight of the night for me.
I want to hear Pooh Bear's analysis of this.
Yeah.
I'm psyched. Let's hear it.
Man, I tell you, and I'm still stuck on this whole guillotine thing, man. I just gotta say this.
I really am curious. Like, do you like? You're not going to tell us if you have a move that you're weak with, but you probably know fighters, like that weakness, that weak move, that weak technique's a real thing.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of like you said. I mean, you normally have something that you're susceptible to as a fighter, and it's kind of like your job to be like, all right, you know what? Maybe, I need to put my right hand up if I keep on getting caught with left hooks. Or, maybe I need to stop looking down at the floor when people, I'm shooting for takedowns and stop leaving my neck available. And even if you get caught in a guillotine, especially when you're sweaty and stuff, once you just have the wherewithal to, like, do a couple of things, stick your butt in the air, look up towards the ceiling, you can alleviate a lot of that pressure. So, I'm trusting, my man Trevin, I'm really hoping that he's learned his lesson. His hands are so smooth, man. Dude, this man has he has some smooth hands, dude. Like, I mean, the James Krause fight. If you know everything about that fight, it becomes a little bit less impressive. The fact that Krause really is a lot smaller and fought him on 24 hours notice. Being in the devil's advocate here, you could say, he was going in there with nothing to lose or whatever. But, my man, how do you say his last name? How do you say his last name?
Duplessis.
Duplessis. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's an exciting guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is. He's a wild man.
He's exciting. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of makes me uncomfortable when me and Aaron agree on this much stuff. It kind of makes me, yeah. Okay, there's only been these past 2 fights, but
we'll get out of that real soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, unless my man Trevin gets caught in a goofy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is like if you're gonna know how to defend any submission, guillotines is a submission to know how to defend. Damn.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't see a lot of guillotine or triangle chokes in the UFC. That's 2 submissions. I just feel like you shouldn't see a lot of at the UFC level.
Especially like the guillotine is just so readily available at any grappling position. You just need to know the defense for it because literally you can get caught in a guillotine from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, so I don't get caught in too much of a guillotine defense tangent. But I got guys winning by decision. I mean, I've never seen him really hurt for real. His hands look real smooth. He looks very sound defensively. I think he's just gonna wear my man Duplessis down. But it could be a fun fight. I mean, this man Duplessis is a madman. So we're gonna see. I'm excited for this one.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Bunny, your thoughts on this matchup?
Right? I picked Giles to win too, but I couldn't come up with a method. seeing all that we talked about, I was like,
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea. But I have Trevin to win, so let's see.
Yeah, I think this is one that Duplessis would be smart to push the grappling in a little bit, but I mean Giles has really good grappling, and I mean, as Brandon has now said here 2 or 3 times, it's a cardio issue, guys. It was a cardio issue. Yeah, well, either way, he needs cardio in this fight too. I think every fight he'll need cardio, and so hopefully he's solved that. We are all on Giles here. He is the slight dog at even money, so it's close, nearly a pick 'em. Plus 100 on Giles, so bet 100, win 100. You've got Duplessis coming back at a minus 120, so yeah, nearly a pick 'em. I think this is a really good fight. This is personally one of my early picks for fight of the night. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And if Duplessis wins by guillotine, I will cry again. Just a reminder.
I think I might too.
And really, I'm so excited. I'm excited about the Brad Tavares and Mari Akhmedov fight, but I do feel that the Duplessis Giles fight is what kicks off this card truly, because the next fight is another one of my favorite fights on this entire card. We got finally the return of the Wizard, Ryan Hall, one of my favorite fighters in the entire UFC. He's been gone for way too long. I love this dude. Fights out Falls Church, Virginia, right down the road from Washington, D.C. here, taking on Ilya Topuria, one of my favorite up-and-coming new guys in the UFC. So I really don't have a side in this fight I'm rooting against. So far with Topuria, I've doubted him in his first 2 fights, and I was wrong in both of those. So maybe I'm done doubting the 24-year-old El Matador, born in Germany, fighting out of Spain. He's on a 10-fight win streak, fighting out MMA Masters, one of the best gyms in the business right now, coming off of that first-round knockout of Damon Jackson, where he bodied him up, pieced him up to the body, and then landed a perfect right to Topuria, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well, has a ton of mounted guillotine chokes, anacondas, rear naked chokes prior to the UFC, came in against Yusuf Zalal and pretty much dominated a good amount of that fight. Defended the takedowns well. He looks like he is a complete legitimate featherweight product here. And I mean, he's 24 years old. His best win is, I guess, Yusuf Zalal, you could say, maybe Damon Jackson. Either one, not incredible. So there is a level of competition there. And then Ryan Hall is only 8-1, but this dude is just he's such a fun fighter to watch. 36 years old now, fighting out TriStar. He's been off for, I believe, 2 years now, over nearly 2 years. July 13th of 2019, he beat Darren Elkins. Before that, submitted BJ Penn with a heel hook. They locked in, and 2 seconds later, BJ Penn was tapping. His heel hooks are just unreal. He has beautiful kicks. His stand-up is so confident because you can't really take him down. His jiu-jitsu is so threatening. He's got crazy back takes. Topuria, I do think will try to take him down in this fight. So that is where this gets interesting for me. Because if he takes him down, I think Ryan Hall can sweep him. I think he can submit him. I just think that if Topuria is not crowding him on the feet, and if he is trying to take it down, that is a really dangerous game to play for 3 rounds. I really, really love Ryan Hall. I've been waiting for him to come back. Ryan Hall has been turned down by Shane Burgos, by Josh Emmett, by Jose Aldo. He has been turned down by everybody at the 145 division. I get Jose Aldo not at 135, but I believe that Ryan Hall, who is a super intelligent guy also, so he's going to come in with, I think, a really interesting game plan against a 24-year-old bull, essentially, in El Matador, who is used to going in there, being the hammer, and it working every single time. I think Ryan Hall is a tricky nail to nail down. The large octagon, I think, could play a role for Ryan Hall with regards to using that movement a little bit. I think that Topuria does not respect Ryan Hall's stand-up, and I think on the ground, Ryan Hall is the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think that, yeah, you hear things like Poirier says, for me, he's a normal person. That's good. He should think he's a normal person. But I think a lot of times 24-year-old 10-0 guys who've never lost, never tasted defeat. I think that if Ryan Hall gets one of those Imanari rolls and gets a hold of those legs, it takes such a short amount of time for him to ruin your ability to walk for him. I just think there are too many spots that Poirier could be taken where this is unknown. I think the amount of time off Ryan Hall, it is going to make him better. He is a cerebral fighter. We've been seeing with Paul Craig, with Muniz, with these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizards lately that are underdogs somehow.
I love
that. We're not. Yeah, I'm going to take Ryan Hall to get a submission somewhere along the line here. I think it might be a heel hook, honestly. So
okay.
Yeah, I think Ryan Hall's best wins. I mean, his performance against Gray Maynard, I get Gray Maynard was way over the hill at the time, but it was such a world-class performance, and he was just in such control of his stand-up, his grappling. The fight against BJ Penn, submitting BJ Penn that quickly is insane to me. I don't care how over the hill he is. I do believe he's legit. And then Darren Elkins, and then obviously he beat the GOAT. You just said it. Yeah, he beat. Even when Brandon's not hosting with me, he cuts me off through his comments. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm going down with the ship here. Ryan Hall, baby. Let's go, Wizard.
I love it. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Dude, I tell you what, because I mean, you know, I feel like if you're an MMA fan, you know who Ryan Hall is at this point, and
you better.
You know, just a pro tip, because I know you guys have to deal with people Imanari rolling you guys all the time. If someone Imanari rolls you, like he did BJ Penn, roll with the heel hook. Don't heel hook stuff like BJ Penn did.
But even if you do, he just wants to touch your leg. He just wants to grab your leg and just get in that entanglement, man. He is
give me your leg.
Like leg locks have evolved so much over the past couple years. Like the whole Danaher Death Squad, like
yes, sir,
they've gotten leg locks to the point where it's just like you said, if they touch your leg, you need to just abort immediately, evacuate the premises. Don't play that game with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So saying just roll with it, it seems easier said than done against a guy like Ryan Hall who wants you to roll with it.
Easier said than done, but also BJ rolled the wrong way and destroyed his own knee. Like Ryan didn't even have to apply the heel.
Did you see how quick that BJ tapped? Like, it's one of the fastest taps I can ever remember in my life.
Yeah,
it was like
his knee by rolling the wrong way, like a goof. Like tap before you roll the wrong way.
That's fair.
If you're gonna roll the right way. If you're gonna roll the wrong way, tap and don't absolutely demolish me. But yeah, freaking back onto the fight. Dude, this kid, Ilya, man, this kid can fight, man. I'll say, like, I knew who Ryan Hall was going into this, but until I looked this kid up, I didn't realize that. I didn't know who this guy was, and like looking up his fights and watching, like, this kid can fight, and not only can he fight, but he's getting better. And this guy is an absolute monster. But you know what, dude? Ryan Hall is the man, dude. Like, I can't think of Ryan Hall right now. Like, come on, Ryan Hall's gonna win by submission, dude.
Let's go.
Grappling's hot right now. I'm sorry, dude. Like, but no, the thing is, I think Ilya, like, his ability to mix in his takedowns with the strikes is really, really good. It's like really, really good. And like you said, I feel like he's got great striking. It's getting better. I do think he's gonna mix in a takedown. I think that'll be a mistake. I think he should avoid grappling with Ryan Hall at all costs, in my humble opinion. But we'll see if he does that. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem like to me to take Ryan Hall down to his back. So Ryan Hall by submission.
Bunny, do we have a clean sweep here, or are we?
No, we don't.
You go. So you're saying there's a chance.
I love Ryan. I think Ryan Hall is a name that even like casual, and I hate to use that term because it's ridiculous, but casual viewers, I think, even know and are fans of. I'm a big fan myself, but I think I got to Poirier by decision. I just think his hands will equal out whatever takedown Hall has. I'm psyched for this fight. I'm a huge Hall fan, so if he gets the win, I don't bet on this shit, so I'll be happy to play. But I think Poirier is gonna get the decision. But I love your picks. I do, because I love.
No, you're. Yeah. No, it's good to have a it's good to have a voice of reason.
Yeah.
It's good to have a voice of reason on the show. That's why Bunny's here. Bunny going with the favorite. The favorite here.
I know. I always feel confident about my picks until you start speaking, because you
thanks.
on with the picks. So.
Well, no, you had the favorite though, the -240 favorite in Taporia.
Well, I don't usually go with the favorite, but this one I didn't even look at the favorite. I just
I'm pretty surprised the line's that heavy towards Taporia, and that is just a compliment to say how good this 24-year-old is to be this high of a favorite against a guy in Ryan Hall who's been turned down by 12-6 in the featherweight division. I mean, Taporia has every reason to take this fight. I think Ryan Hall, this is a tough fight back for Ryan Hall. Taporia has been much more active lately. But yeah, I mean, if you're on Taporia's side and you're betting him, those are not fun odds to bet, in my opinion. So I do agree. Ryan Hall is a +195 underdog, nearly a +200. And I'm betting Ryan Hall by submission, so that's going to be a +300 underdog there for me. And yeah, we'll just have to kind of see. I think this is a really interesting fight. Ryan Hall, if he doesn't lose this, I'm a little concerned about where he goes in his career, just because he is 36, nearly 37 years old. Taporia, 24. He can lose this fight, and it will make him better, frankly, than probably winning this fight at this point in his career. Because Taporia wins this fight, he has nowhere to go but like a Shane Burgos type, a Calvin Kattar. Like, he is in the thick of it. He's in the thick of it. That was a TikTok song.
If he had to fight Shane Burgos next, that would suck. Bless his heart.
I mean, it might suck really bad for Shane Burgos, who lug out and rebooted against Edson Barbosa in that fight.
That was crazy.
Dude, he control-alted and deleted his whole brain when Edson Barbosa hit him in the middle of his forehead. He was like, I'm okay. And then ice skates.
Dude,
Crazy.
It was like, I'm here. And his legs were like, no, you're not.
No. Dude,
sit down.
That was wild.
There's some cool contrast between like odds and people who are like this is a good take. You're going with odds and you know, I just think it is an interesting card to go with. Yeah. That was a good point.
Yeah, I totally agree with Brandon.
You know, you guys are all smarts and
all hearts and all smarts here on there in the Dog MMA channel.
Bunny, you're all heart, Aaron's all smarts, and I'm somewhere in between. I'm a little bit. I'm not great at either one. I'm just somewhere.
Yeah, you actually go in there and do the shit that I just talk shit about. I'm like, oh, this is easy. You just go in there. Oh, God, what idiots.
Just a good crew we got right here.
Yeah, this is everything I hoped it would be and more. Next fight: Nico Price versus Michelle Pereira.
Yes.
Pereira at welterweight. This is another fight. This should be violence. Sometimes these super violent fights end up being complete horseshit. We know Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou. We have other ones, but I really do think that this is going to be a great fight here. Michelle Pereira, Demolador on a 2-fight win streak. Should be a 3-fight win streak, but he got disqualified against Diego Sanchez with that illegal knee where Diego Sanchez couldn't continue. So it's a 2-fight win streak against Chaos Williams and Zaleem Imadiv. Zaleem ended up being kind of a UFC burnout. Chaos Williams was supposed to be this death touch super good guy, but kind of has disappeared from that since his first 2. And also I think Chaos could have gotten the decision against Michelle in that one. So, yeah, Pereira's kind of interesting. When he goes in there and he's wild and crazy with the crowd, it ends up kind of costing him. against Tristan Conley. That's the best example of that for sure. And there will be a crowd again back. And at this point in the night, the crowd will be starting to file in more. There'll definitely be, you'll be noticing kind of an uptick in the atmosphere at this point in the night. So I'm just wondering if Michel Pereira has the ability to really stick to a smart game plan here against Nico Price, in which he should be going for takedowns. He should be going to look to take this to the ground. And, you know, if he keeps this on the feet, I think Nico can definitely drop him.
These clutch comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know it's unofficial. Yes. Price did stop smoking weed 6 months ago, cold turkey. Has like 6 kids. He got suspended for weed. So he was like, after that, he was like, oh, I've just spent too much money on weed and I need to quit. So he claims now that he's
the Nevada State Athletic Commission. It's like all good. It's all good, baby.
We're cool.
Fighters who had to pay fines for weed.
If you're watching right now, Jillian, go ahead and drop a comment and ask USADA to give you your money back too.
Get your money, Jill.
Shout out to Jillian, who's training Jillian's training right now with Miranda Maverick, by the way, for Miranda's next fight. So she's up in Virginia in my neck of the woods right now training. So shout out to that. Shout out to Savage. She'll be on really soon because we're going to kind of catch up with her. But yeah, Michel Pereira, I think his route to victory here is very, very clear. Go for the takedowns against Nico Price. Standing with Nico Price is not a good idea, in my opinion, because either you got to kill Nico Price or Nico Price kills you on the feet. He's a big welterweight for one. He hits really hard. Coming off of that no contest against Donald Cerrone, where if he didn't have the few eye pokes in the first round that got the point taken away, he would have beat Cerrone. But instead got no contest. The other thing that was weird about that fight is that Price seemed like he kind of was worshiping Cerrone and didn't really want to hurt Cerrone. And hopefully he doesn't have a high admiration for Michel Pereira that way, because I expect this to be very violent. I've been a big Nico Price fan for some time now. Even if he quit smoking weed, I can still forgive him for that. This is not an Eagles logo. But, you know, I got to go with Nico Price here. I think that he's got the power, the speed advantage on the feet. It is down to takedown defense, which Nico has pretty good takedown defense for the most part. So I am going to give him that. And also Michel at some points in front of a crowd abandons the game plan, starts to fight like an idiot. So I'm going to just kind of take those into account. I'm going to take Nico Price here. I think this is going to be a close fight. So I'll go with Nico Price by decision, but I'll take Mr. Nico Price. Bunny, over to you first.
I feel good about this one because I also have Nico Price by decision. So solid. Lock it in for bettors because that's and odds. So,
do you have any thoughts on Michel Pereira? Are you a Michel Pereira fan so far in his kind of UFC career?
Not super. I think I'd like my Price more. This is a heart pick.
Heart pick.
I like fighters. I like and I love this fight against Cerrone.
I think going from Cerrone to Pereira is quite a step down in competition. In all seriousness, even at this point in Cerrone's career. So I do think that, and Price getting fined, having the year-plus layoff here, I think he comes in hungry, looking for a bonus. So, Bryan, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, man, it's personal for all three of us. You know what I'm saying? But not because I like Nico Price that much. It's because I hate watching Michel Pereira.
There we go. We got one Michel hater.
Oh man, dude, it's like the ultimate flashover substance style. It drives me absolutely insane watching him. That's brilliant.
But when he doesn't fight flashy, he's super effective. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, he just like. He's so goofy so often, and it's like it drives me. It just makes me so mad watching him fight sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like
makes me mad watching him walk out.
Yes, everything,
the
the whole
top.
thing, the whole thing. Like I'm full haterade right now, man. Like I don't have any real reason to not like this guy. I just something about him rubs me the wrong way. I don't like watching him fight. I hope Nico puts on him. I'm,
All right.
I'm
For Nico.
now just but the problem is, I've never seen Michelle, like, at least in the UFC, be like hurt for real. But Nico hurts people a lot. I'm going to go with Nico by finish.
Oh,
Third round.
I love
finish.
it.
Third round. I love it. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and really, honestly, everybody, please tell me how you really feel about Michelle Pereira or Nico Price in this case.
Like him.
Like, Bunny is bringing out the like real feelings in us tonight. We're being a little more heart-filled than usual, and I'm not complaining at all. Michelle Pereira is the minus 165 favorite. We're all on the underdog here.
Yes.
And Nico Price plus 135 underdog. I love it when we all can be on the dog because we come at it from such different angles. That is what I really love about it. But we're all on this underdog here. I think that's a good indication that maybe you should be too. If you're betting out there, plus 135, I really do like. Inside the distance is probably close to plus 300. I bet decision is even higher because Nico Price goes in there and death touches people when he does win. So
yeah,
really interesting. We're fine. What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was watching you on YouTube. Just carry on.
I thought I heard my voice. I was like, who is that? Who's that handsome voice in the background? I want to talk to him.
It's like podcast inception. Nice.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to not talk about it.
Guys, an hour and 16 in, we are to the featured prelim of the pay-per-view. We're almost to the main card. And frankly, I'm surprised that we made it this quickly. I was expecting this to be about 2 hours in. So we're really doing a great job here. 170. We've got a really interesting matchup here. I've been excited to hear about both your guys' sides on this one. Max Griffin taking on Carlos Condit. We all know the natural born killer. 32-13 now, taking on 17-8. Max Griffin, Carlos Condit, coming off of I believe he's on a 2-fight win streak. Yep, he's on a 2-fight win streak over the senior circuit in Matt Brown and Court McGee. But we just saw Matt Brown against Diego Lima, a fight that were we both wrong on that fight, Brian? Did you pick Matt Brown?
I want to say I picked Matt Brown.
Yeah, I think you did. Actually,
I don't have it written down.
No, you picked Matt Brown. I went against Matt Brown. I picked Diego Lima. I said I know I'm going to be wrong on this, but I'm picking Diego Lima. And Matt Brown flatlined him. So shout out to Carlos Condit because Carlos Condit turned into Carlos Condit, the wrestler in that fight. He got like 4 or 5 takedowns, which I think is more than he's had in his entire UFC career. Absolutely, Carlos Condit is a bona fide legend. That is a fact. He did go through kind of a tough stretch there against Robbie Lawler, Damian Maia, Neil Magny, Alex Oliveira, and Chiesa. Again, Alex Oliveira has been kind of rough, but those other 4, there's no shame there at all. And then there's Max Griffin, Max Payne Griffin. He's kind of been up and down so far in his UFC career. He's coming off of a very good first-round knockout of Kenan Song in his last fight. Before that, beat Ramsey Brahmaji by a third-round finish as well. Both of those looked really good. Did get kind of controlled by Alex Oliveira. So they both have that shared loss, as well as Alex Morono. But yeah, Max Griffin, he could be on a 6-fight win streak, but he's also not because he fights really close in so many of these fights. So he does get himself into positions where he can be in a lot of split decisions. He can be in a lot of spots where if he fought smarter, if he fought closer to the game plan he should be fighting, he wouldn't be in those situations. He probably would have those be on a 6-fight win streak. So I don't know. I think that Carlos Condit is saying he wants to go in there and have a toe-to-toe war in there. Max Griffin needs to just – I said this kind of the last fight. I think Michelle Pereira and Max Griffin have a very similar game plan here. Takedowns and make this boring. Crowd them. Don't let them, win in the one area they can, which is on the feet. And I think for Nico Price, if you ground him, his bottom game's a little better because he's got the elbows and everything. But Carlos Condit, if you get him on the ground, if you get his back on the ground, he's done. Like you can get him taken down. It's his get-up game that's very good. So maybe Max Griffin gasses himself out with the takedowns here. But I do like Max Griffin to be smart here. If Max Griffin goes in there and tries to throw down, though, Carlos Condit's going to win this fight. So Max Griffin needs to be smart, disciplined, takedowns, and a decision, possibly even a submission win. Submission, I think, would be a really huge price on it, too. So you could kind of slip in a submission towards the end. But I want to see Max Griffin be the wrestler. We saw it at times, in some of his other fights, the Imadav fight particularly. In the fights he's lost, he's not got stuck to that wrestling and not been disciplined. So if he doesn't do that, could be on the another end of a short decision against Carlos Condit. But I'm going to take Max Payne Griffin to get a decision. Feel bad.
No, man. Dude, this is like it's tough because like we've already established, Carlos Condit is a legend. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the sport watching this man. And it's tough when it's one thing when you watch Anderson Silva go against Israel Adesanya and he's like passing the torch, you know what I'm saying? It's one legend to another legend. In this fight, Carlos, he's getting in there because he wants to. But I don't think Max Griffith is the future of the division by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think he gets the W just because, he just got more gas in the tank. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a great matchup for someone like Carlos Condit. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you got him fighting some of the older guys, some people that are in his like physical capability ballpark. It's a different story. But you got him fighting, Max, as he's fast. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's 33. He's looking like he's really coming into his own in his UFC career finally.
He just seems like a tough out for anybody right now. I'm not saying that he's going to take the division by storm, but he seems like he can give anybody a hard night. So, I'm thinking, man.
How did he know I was going?
Unfortunately, I'm taking Max by decision. Unfortunately.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately. It's painful to say, man. And this is the one that I hope I'm wrong on. I hope of all this stuff I want to be wrong on. I hope I'm wrong on this one, but I'm taking Max by decision.
All right, Bonnie, tell us why we were wrong.
I am picking Condit, and I don't like that prediction. I don't like that he predicted who I was predicting. I don't appreciate that. Keep your mouth shut, Brandon. I do have Condit by TKO. I don't think he's done yet. I love welterweight, and I'm excited for this fight. I don't think Griffin's gonna take Condit out.
You got Condit by TKO, you said?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
And when you repeat it back to me, it just solidifies my pick. Mm-hmm. All the faces you guys make.
No, I was just catching up. I was getting the odds up, and I just wanted to make sure that is a heart-filled pick. Carlos Condit is the underdog, plus 165. Max Griffin, a minus 200 favorite. I do not like that one bit. That is a steep line to pay on a guy who, in Max Griffin, who I believe is 5-9 in the UFC. I know he's got a losing record in the UFC. So,
5-9. That's rough. That's really
he's
rough.
right. Like you aren't a closed book at all. Also, like if anybody like knows a semblance of Bunny and looked at this fight and was like, I wonder who she's picking. Like they're just not paying attention. It's like wondering about the main event.
Like underdogs.
It's like wondering about the main event. You really should be Bunny the dog. Maybe I should be Aaron the bunny. Maybe we should work on a identity switch.
Aaron the obvious picks.
Aaron the wow. I just got called basic. Aaron the
Damn.
basic bitch.
You make
I
people
just called you casual, B.
Wow.
No,
I've been exposed.
you
Been
make people
exposed.
pick it apart. That's it. Go
Oh,
with
don't try to change.
Come on, dude, TKO.
We are on to the main card. We've got Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean O'Malley, taking on Chris Montigno.
The whole
Chris-
sugar show.
The whole Sugar Show. Sugar.
The whole sugar show.
We've got Chris Montigno taking the fight on short notice. We've kind of followed all week. We've seen the different fighters who allegedly had chances at taking the fight and then didn't take the fight. Chris Montigno eventually got the fight. It will be at 135. Montigno out of Milford, Mass. 28 years old. So he's had nearly all of his fights on the regional circuit in CFFC or CES for the most part. 2 times he stepped up in competition into the higher realm was Johnny Campbell, who he got knocked out by, and Tony Gravely, who knocked him out in the 4th round. He does have a win over Damon Blackshear, who is definitely a decent regional talent himself. But yeah, I just think that this is one where, Chris Montigno, he's being brought in to get squashed. I don't know really how else to put it. I've looked back at some of Montigno's fights. He is a very well-rounded, decent guy, but I just think that he's got to – I'm going to sound like a broken record. He's got to push for the takedowns. He's got to get to the ground over and over again. That is the way to beat Sean O'Malley, in my opinion. When you get Sean O'Malley on his back, he looks average as fuck. And, you can land – ground and pound on him. I think submissions could possibly be open, but Chris Montigno not going to be the guy to do it. We saw Sugar Sean in his last fight against Thomas Almeida. I believe.
Bring that up, Conor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember that fight or not, Bunny, but I remember that fight quite well. And I think this kind of is going to look similar to that for however long it does last. Yeah, well, we'll just get to this question real quick, Brian, and then we'll get back into the card. Do you know if you're fighting on the same card as Volkanovski and Bryan or Ortega if you are in the finale, hypothetically, allegedly?
Well, here's all I will say. None of the fighters know when the finale is, and that is not me even BSing. To this day, none of the fighters know when the finale is. So unfortunately, I have no
They're still
idea.
trying to figure it out.
I would love that. Would be so lit if me and the boys could reunite in a situation like that. That'd be so fucking lit, dude. We might burn Vegas down. I don't know.
Yeah, if you did happen to be in the tough finale, if you did, allegedly,
if I did. All of Team Volk. I'm assuming all of Team Volk will be there for the finale, hopefully, because Team Volk is the best team.
Obviously.
Speaking of Team Volk, Mitchell Raposo, Boston Mitch, is in Vegas with our boy Chris.
Okay.
I guess they're out of the same camp.
Shout out to Mitch.
And I love Boston Mitch. And he has a lot of good things to say about this kid, but he's getting smoked. He's gonna get smoked by Sugar Sean, dude. I saw him fight forever ago against James Hood, and this is before I had any idea who he was. And my man James, he was putting
Bunny hard.
Man. He was putting it. I'm sorry, Bunny.
The shift in emotion on Bunny. She was having such a good time hearing you talk about Mitch and everything, thinking you were about to be like Team Volk, baby, by Chris. Team Volk. Chris is good.
Team Chris by way of Team Volk. But no, man, dude, it's like
squash match.
We don't even need to do this fight prediction, honestly. If you look at the fucking odds, which I don't do the odds, but if you just look at the odds alone and his fucking record, I can't even. I was hoping you'd just glance over this fight and we wouldn't even make any predictions.
So your pick is Sean O'Malley as well?
No, I'm spike picking Chris.
Oh,
Nice.
no.
I like the
Nice.
energy.
Fuck the sugar throw in this whole fucking charade with giving him cans.
You know, and I know you're being spiteful right now, but if he does
I love
pull
that
off this
spite.
upset, you could cut out that sound excerpt right there, and you would be like, we'd see you on ESPN Plus making fight picks after this.
Yeah, we're
People
about to
wanna
make
see
you.
Shingles.
We're about like Bunny's never gonna be on the show again because she's just gonna blow up.
One and done. One
Yo,
and done.
she's gonna be like, "Bye, sorry, I'm doing a podcast with Stephen A. Smith now." Me. And now we got Bunny's back for the rest of the podcast.
I'm so mad about this. Can we just move on from this fight?
Yo, that is too funny. But Bunny's got Chris Montinho. What do you got? Sorry, what do you have Chris by, just for the record? Yo, you might as well go all the way at this point.
I might as well. Let's just say,
KO, do it. Do KO.
He's gonna knock Sean out. Oh, I swear to, or maybe it'll be a weird nerve kick that'll bring Sean down. Like,
I'm thinking about the scream that will happen if he gets leg kicked and he just crumbles. Can you imagine?
Burn the city to the ground.
Oh my God! We are going live immediately after that. If that happens, we're just gonna put up a video of just screaming for like however. It's not going to be any content. It's just going to be live reaction to the fight with the only person who picked Chris Montinho. Motherfucking spiteful Bunny.
Spite picking Chris by
If
KO.
you're gonna spite pick with heart. The reason I think it's kind of interesting because Brandon with the comment of the night. Dude, he even capped it. He even capped the like that is an incredible. You don't even understand how good that message is, Brandon. Good job.
I don't want to talk about this fight anymore, please.
No, yeah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Like, you don't need to pout. Like, we're gonna move on to fight that I don't have a ton to say about. I'll be honest. Bantamweight fight: Irene Aldana versus Yana Kunitskaya. Yana Kunitskaya, nicknamed Foxy, out of Russia. Looks like a Russian fighter to me, for sure. She's definitely impressed me. First of all, look at that. I'm 3-0 in Yana fights so far. So that's good. Right, nice. I pick her fights right. She's coming off of 2 straight wins against Julia Stolyarenko. We know how bad Julia Stolyarenko is. We all know about how bad Julia Stolyarenko is. She is Stolyarenko. But nice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, after that spite pick, I'm all worked up now. But then came back against Caitlin Vieira. That was a interesting fight. It was very close. I bet Caitlin Vieira that night. So I thought Caitlin Vieira won. I've gone back and watched it. I do think Yana was able to piece together the 2 rounds. Fought really intelligently. Used good cage control. Used good takedowns and everything like that. So Yana's 2 losses are to Aspen Ladd and Chris Cyborg. So
we all know Cyborg is a beast.
Right. I mean, other than that, she's looked really good. Irene Aldana, however, she's kind of been that Mexican prospect for a while now. We all know her for her boxing for sure. It's definitely what she was known for in Invicta prior to getting her call over the UFC. It's been for the most part what she's known for in the UFC here. This is a striker versus grappler matchup here for Irene, in my opinion. Irene is coming off of a loss to Holly Holm, though, where Holly Holm scored 6 of 12 takedowns. And I think Yana is a better wrestler than Holly Holm, and I think Yana can kind of replicate that game plan. So I like Yana to get a decision here. I do think that one advantage for Irene is the bigger octagon. Another is that she is such a better striker than Yana that first round I definitely could be a little concerned, but I think for the most part Aldana is more of a volume movement striker, doesn't get a lot of first round finishes, did get the first round finish of Vieira, but besides that in the UFC all decisions and an armbar of Betch Kohea. So I think this is another decision here either way, but I'll take Yana. Cage control, takedowns, pressure to squeak this one out.
Squeak it out, huh?
Squeak it. What's your thoughts, Bunny? We'll end with Bryan here.
Okay, I think he's a professional. I have Aldana by unanimous decision. I also think it'll be a nice balance there, but it's.
You like the boxing movement?
Like the boxing.
No, I think that's.
Yana is in a relationship with Thiago Santos. I did not know that, Brandon.
No, that is Thiago Santos, part of the Gustafson Club of having your best fight be a title fight that you lose.
Really?
I didn't see that. I just didn't see it.
It's not a bad looking couple. A really tall, pale, blonde Russian with a very handsome tan Brazilian.
I mean,
Yana with the hammer.
And oh no comment on that comment. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Whatever, I agree.
Yana is not at all a bad looking girl. I don't know. Maybe I'm stereotyping. I would have assumed Thiago's would have liked a little bit more,
meat
onto the fight. Onto the fight. I'm getting off this topic before I get in trouble somewhere. I'm gonna get off this topic before I get in trouble
just like, nope.
Whoa, did it get warm in here real quick? I don't know. Man.
We're getting the go on sign from Bunny. We're getting the same more.
Yo.
Thanks, Brandon. You derailed us once again. We're at the 1:30 minute.
Oh no! But yeah, Kunis Kai, she's gonna win by decision. That's it. Period. I think she's gonna manhandle her. She's just a beast.
He said manhandled.
Person handle.
She is going to
person handle.
She's going to dominate her. She's going to.
Yeah, we do not know Yana's pronouns. We do not know Yana's pronouns.
That is fair. And in 2021, she's going to handle her any way she wants to because she is a strong, independent person. And best of luck
to her
in life.
Hell yeah, she's independent and strong. Hell yeah. Well, we're a broken home again. We got almost every fight here. We have not been really on the same page except I think Nico Price, Trevin Giles, and Ryan Hall. We came together as a family.
Those are obvious, though.
No, those are all underdogs. Stop saying everything's obvious. I step out of the box like all the time.
Honestly, the most obvious fight pick was Sean O'Malley versus Chris.
Oh my God! I'm so fed up with talking about this. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We have Sean O'Malley at home. It's called Chris Moutinho. Mom, thanks.
Chris Moutinho.
And you guys, it'll be the last Sean O'Malley fight he'll ever have. Let's go.
We got the PlayStation 1 creative fighter versus the PlayStation 3 creative fighter. So very excited for that one. Neither one a PS5 creative player. Both of them. We are almost to the top here, guys. I think this has been a great show, Bunny. I hope that you join us much more often because honestly, this show is going quicker with three of us somehow than when it's just Bryan and I. First of all,
I don't know how. I feel like
I don't either
on the show. I have no idea how.
I think having the observer.
Been on for hours, honestly.
I feel like we're stepping up with the observer in front of us. I feel like we're delivering like more succinct. We're trying to get to our points more. And like we all got our perspectives we're coming from this from. And this fight here, I'm going to need some help on because I'm a little lost. Tai Tuivasa, Greg Hardy. I'm lost for several reasons here. First of all, what is this doing third from the top on UFC 264? Second of all, why is Greg Hardy still in the UFC at all? And third of all, do I all of a sudden trust Tai Tuivasa?
Yep.
Because I'm not sure, after looking at Tai Tuivasa's Instagram all week, if he's even training for this fight. So what do I do here? Because I got Greg Hardy, Mr. Puff Puff, who got a no contest because he used a fucking inhaler in the middle of a fight because he's got asthma. And he used to be a football player where they'd have to go for at most 12 seconds at a time before resting. To now being an MMA fighter, he's 7-3 still. Prince of War apparently is his nickname. He went 5 rounds with Alexander Volkov. That is probably the best compliment I can give him of anything. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. Thank you. Yeah. See, I'm on the Tapology page, so I come back to Brandon's comments sometimes. But yes, Hardy will gas after 6 minutes without his puffer. But Mr. Puff Puff not being there is going to be a problem, I think, for Greg Hardy. Against Marcin Tybura, kind of just got beat up for those 2 rounds. But Marcin Tybura, kind of one of the best up-and-coming guys at the heavyweight division, so I'm not hating on that too much. Before that, though, Greg Hardy's wins were against Yorgan De Castro and Maurice Green. Maurice Green is as garbage as they come. He should be refereeing Alan Abandowski versus I already forgot Huzong Yazong, whatever that guy's name is. I forgot that was even the first fight. But like he's that level. Yorgan De Castro was winning the fight against Greg Hardy until he sprained his foot after kicking Greg Hardy in the knee. And then he stopped kicking him, and then he just, like, lost. So, other than that, yeah, Greg Hardy, he had to use his puffer in a fight with Ben Sosoli. Like, Ben Sosoli is just not the guy who should be exposing your gas tank, exactly. I just think that Tai Tuivasa has got to see that leg kicks have worked in each of the last few fights against Greg Hardy. Tai Tuivasa, I'm going to take here. Round number 2. And I don't know if that was a spoiler or not for Bunny, but your Shuey, is that a giveaway on your pick here? I got Tai Tuivasa round 2.
This Brandon said drink beer out of a shoe. I was just obliging. I had a Jordan in front of me, and I just wanted to. And that's also my pick.
Exactly. There we go. You got the finish?
Yeah. What did I write down here? I didn't write anything down. I picked him because he said he was fat and strong. I'm like, I'm going with that. That is a legendary. He's got his head in the game. He's fat and strong, and he's coming out for the win. But yeah, it's gonna go for the finish. Heavyweight, hell yeah.
Yeah, fat and strong. That's the way I like to look at things as well. Fat and strong for the win with Tai Tuivasa.
A great combination. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, I've lived my life that way, half that way.
Best of both worlds. Let's go. Didn't Yorgan De Castro just beat Maurice Green?
Yorgan De Castro?
A month and a half ago.
Oh God, no! I think Yorgan De Castro.
I'm thinking of the big Brazilian guy.
Yeah, because Yorgan De Castro just lost to Jarvis Danho. And Jarvis Danho hadn't fought an MMA fight in 4.5 years before that fight. I remember breaking that down with you. So that was a great loss by Yorgan De Castro, who's now out of the UFC.
Oh.
Bless his heart.
But
bless his heart.
You hate to see it, but, you know.
Bless his heart.
I mean,
bless his heart.
He's supposed to be a really nice guy. But,
I mean, he looks like a nice guy. Yeah, Yorgan De Castro got sat on by Marcus Rogerio de Lima. That was an awful fight.
Okay.
Oh,
Delima, he beat Maurice Green too. Yeah. That was
nasty.
hard to watch though.
Yeah, you hated to see that.
You hate to see it.
Are you picking Drop My Girlfriend on Machine Guns, Hardy?
No, man, dude, I live in North Carolina. Like, I was here when all that goofy stuff was happening. Yeah, no, it's 2 all day, man. Like, Greg Hardy is a goon, man.
God, it makes me. He really is an absolute goon, and I wish they would get rid of him.
Dude.
Yeah, and it's just. I mean, Tai Tuivasa minus 135 favorite, plus 110 on Greg Hardy. They're expecting this to be a very close fight. I've heard a lot of people talking this week that Greg Hardy has a cardio advantage, and I don't know what planet that exists on because it's not here. I mean, Tai Tuivasa is no prize pig. Don't get me wrong in the cardio department, but yeah, I got shoeies for Tai Tuivasa. I don't have any Jordans around me because I'm not cool like Bunny, but there we go.
Hey.
For the Moutinho.
No,
for the Moutinho,
Bunny. The shoey goes.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes. That is a fake shoey.
Wow, shots fired from Bryan. Just shots fired.
I don't know why I got so passionate.
This is what happens around this time in the pod. We all start to have spent too much time around each other. We're like, wow, it's like
I'm fucking sick of you two. I'll tell you right now. I'm just kidding.
Let me tell you, Bunny brings the comments because everybody's just like, atta Bunny, oh my god, Bunny, you're so great.
I'm the only one.
Bunny, why are you so amazing? Oh my god, you drank water off a shoe. You're funny and smart.
I'll crawl through this screen. I'm the only one with boobs, respectively.
Oh, please. Oh, my God. You are more than boobs. You are more than boobs.
Let's move on to the next one.
I have a solid B cup.
I'm getting the little Bryan, save her.
I'm picking Tua. I don't know what happened. I'm picking Tua.
All right. Next fight. I can't believe that's third from the top. It really is crazy to me. But the last 2 fights of the night are absolutely elite. First fight at 170. I've been very, very excited for this one. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. I will say that right off the bat. There's Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. There's Robert Whittaker. Cheeto Vera. There's like very few other fighters that every time they fight, I'm pretty much picking them all the way around. I've gotta make my bias clear here. Stephen Thompson, I've been saying since the beginning of the year, I felt he was going to be the guy to dethrone Kamaru Usman eventually. Now that kind of narrative is starting to come into the fold more for people every contender but Wonderboy has been taken out by Kamaru at this point. I think Wonderboy poses extremely interesting challenges here, and I frankly think the last 2 guys that Wonderboy's fought, he's going to kind of have a similar game plan to the game plan he has against Gilbert Burns here. Vicente Luque, I think, is nearly an identical game plan there. Vicente Luque is a black belt in jiu-jitsu with huge power on his feet, likes to pressure, and Stephen Thompson put on an absolute striking clinic in that fight. And for the most part, unless you're going to test that durability, like Anthony Pettis did with that Superman punch, which was an amazing knockout, but he was winning that fight until then. And I mean, for the most part, it's like unless you catch Wonderboy, he gets to put on a clinic. He did it against.
That was great, dude. The way he let him back up, just to put him back on the ground again.
I mean, the leg kicks, just the distance control, the movement, the volume, and we're in the big octagon again. We're not in the small Apex Vegas octagon. We're in the 30-footer here. That is such a huge advantage. Gilbert Burns has that power. He has really good jiu-jitsu as well. But Stephen Thompson is nearly impossible to take down. When you do take him down, he just springs back up. I just think that Yeah, I think Stephen Thompson is the real deal. His losses have been to Darren Till in a fight I think that could have went his way. It was a really close technical fight. The Tyron Woodley fights obviously were great. Anthony Pettis, he was winning till that Superman punch, and I've gotten to see him go back, watch that fight. He laughs about it. He's very good spirits about it. Stephen Thompson, go ahead.
I said he's like, his sportsmanship is like second to none, which is why I love him so much. He's
Yeah. He's got a really good camp up at Upstate Karate, has had Chris Weidman in there, has had a few others come through. He's really starting to be known for having guys come through to work on their stand-up. Again, Jillian Robertson was out training with Stephen Thompson as well. So I really like, just that he's bringing in a lot of different looks, a lot of different guys. Burns is not going to win a decision on this planet either, especially against a guy like Thompson. But yeah, Gilbert Burns, I don't want to completely count him out here. He's 19-4. He, came off that tough fight against the champion, obviously, but still 34 years old, fighting out of Stanford MMA. Still has some tread left on the tires. He went 5 rounds with Tyron Woodley. He KO'd Damian Maia, which is not easy to do at any point. If he catches Wonderboy on the chin, he could put him away and knock him out. I really do think that is the big question with Wonderboy is durability. It's the ability to take those shots. When he doesn't get those shots, he puts on clinics, though. And in 3 rounds, I think that this does play an advantage for Burns. He could possibly steal a round or 2 and make this close, but I like Wonderboy decision here. What is your thoughts on the fight, Bryan? And then we'll go over to you, Bunny, to cap it off.
Oh, man, dude. You talk about Wonderboy fans. Wonderboy, he is a staple over here in the South. Someone I've worked with before. Super, like you said, he's as nice in person as he seems on camera.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And he's good. Like I tell you, the time that I worked with him, literally 10 seconds into a sparring round, he kicked me in the head. I was like, wow, man, it really is like that. That's crazy. But yeah, it's this will be because if Stephen Thompson really comes out here and puts on a clinic against Gilbert Burns, which he's very capable of, then it kind of solidifies that kind of argument that he is the worst matchup for Kamaru Usman left. It probably in the top 10 easily. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really if Stephen Thompson wasn't booked for this fight, I feel like that would be the fight to book. Him versus Usman, because it's just that would be such a fun fight. You know what I mean?
I've been saying it.
That's a sexy matchup.
For real, though. But Gilbert is a scary dude. I think I'm gonna make a Khabib prediction right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick 2 winners. If it happens in the first round, I got Gilbert winning. Anything past the first round, I think Stephen Thompson takes it. But I'm taking Stephen Thompson by decision. I think, yeah, man. But it's a scary one. It's a scary one because, Gilbert is like an absolute explosive. And that's kind of like one of those things. Explosiveness has been a Stephen Thompson's downfall. Not necessarily like punching power per se, but explosiveness because it's the shots that
he's not getting out techniqued on the stand-up to get knocked out in these fights. It's guys who are just willing to put themselves in positions with more unorthodox strikes and have that power. Gilbert does. Yeah. What he did to Damian Maia is crazy. Like Damian Maia, that doesn't happen to Damian Maia.
Not like that. Not like that.
No.
The last person to do it was in middleweight.
But you do so what you're really telling me here, and sorry, betting talk for one moment, Bunny, is that really what you're advising here is that you could easily see Gilbert Burns winning the first round and Wonderboy still going on to win this fight. So you could possibly, if you're betting after the first round, get Wonderboy at an underdog price.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're not sweating that first round knockout as much because you don't have it invested until after you because even if Wonderboy loses the first round, I think the gas is on Wonderboy's side, the experience is on Wonderboy's side, the technique is. So even if Burns is able to win that first round, flip the odds because Wonderboy is the favorite, then
and the longer it goes, the more Wonderboy has a chance to figure out what Gilbert's going to do. Gilbert is
if this was 5 rounds, I would really be pretty much hammering it with hedging with Gilbert Burns first round knockout. Like, so if it does happen, getting that, but it's just like, what are your thoughts, Bunny?
I have Thompson by decision. And because
the family's back.
See, we fight together and then we come back together as one. It's what we do. It's
like animalistic power versus like surgical precision, and I just
beautifully.
It's such a. I can't believe there isn't more promotion over it. Which I know there's a lot, but because of the trilogy, but this is like an insane fight. This is going to be so awesome. It can literally go either way. Gilbert could just sneak in with a fucking powerful KO, or Thompson could pull his surgical hit, and he's just so precise, calculated, patient. You know, I love watching him fight, and he's fought all my favorite people. He's beat a couple of my favorites. He's been beaten by a couple of my favorites.
What he did to Robert Whittaker to send Robert Whittaker to middleweight is unruly.
Unruly.
Like,
unforgivable. But I would go with Thompson.
That was
by decision. I think
that was spot on. That was like absolutely perfectly put. Animalistic power versus the surgical precision. This fight should be getting way more advertisement, way more because of the stakes that are at here. Whoever wins this fight, if Burns goes in there and finishes Wonderboy, he's right back in the conversation.
Thompson's last fight, which I don't know for sure, but it's a possibility. It could be,
especially if it's a knockout the way Burns knocks people out. It will be his last fight,
and that's heartbreaking.
There's a ton at stake here.
The money. Wonderboy doesn't need the money. They got the massive karate school. Like, if he doesn't feel
he's just got to straight up brand his Twitch streams, everything. But
he's always going to be loved by everyone, no matter what. He is the nicest guy in MMA. His students love him. Everyone that crosses paths with him, he loves him. So his marketing will never. He'll never lose stock in that.
And his comeback against Colby Covington, making fun for being Wonderboy. He's like, I can't be Wonder Man. That would be weird. Like, he's just like.
Or the Woodley press conference where he goes, "Why are you so mean, man?" Like, sometimes that shit is wholesome as fuck.
Yeah, it's great. Guy. Yeah, but this is a huge fight in all seriousness for the welterweight division. It's so good. Yeah, it's a great one. Stephen Thompson is only a -160 favorite, so the odds definitely expect this to be a close fight. Plus 135 on Gilbert Burns. Those are close. This could be a trap for me, but I'm gonna have Stephen Thompson. I have him in several parlays as well. I also will be betting him by decision.
Look at us coming together. Do you see
good
that?
Job. Coming together. It's good to have the family together. Will the family be together for this final fight, though?
Absolutely not.
This is, I think. Oh, wow. Okay, I thought we would be, but
I guess might be. I don't know.
I guess we're finding out because we got the trilogy: Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor 3. Like, I keep looking at this. It's not for a belt. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we? Like,
I'm in so much pain over this fight.
Like, but it doesn't need a belt because like everything's on the line here. This is 5-6 years in the making now. This is a big reason why Conor got to the point he is.
7 years, I think, right?
7 years, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is time freaks me out. I don't know how else to put it. Time really freaks me out. Yeah, Conor McGregor, notorious, has a whole 1 win in the last 5 years, I believe.
Against Cerrone, right?
Yeah, like besides Cerrone, so the Cerrone shoulder knockout, his last one goes against Eddie Alvarez in November of 2016. Before that was that alleged decision win against Nate Diaz, a majority decision win, allegedly.
That kick, it could go either way. And just so you know, at 196, this motherfucker submitted his ass. So,
Correct.
in my opinion, Nate's still ahead.
Oof.
Got you, dog.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
the
at
savage.
196, that motherfucker won. And then 202 was, questionable. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. That was where that you can interrupt me with that at any point. I'm just not looking at the screen right now, so I can't tell when you're. I'm looking at the Tapology screen, so I couldn't tell when you were talking. That's why I awkwardly stopped talking about
Conor McGregor. So.
Yeah. No, you can. Those are important things to bring up. But yeah, Conor McGregor, his last 3 have been against Khabib, Cerrone, and Poirier. Obviously, he knocked out Cerrone in 40 seconds. The Poirier fight, I've gone back and watched this one a lot. And that by a lot, I mean a lot.
Me too.
It's a very, very interesting first round, but it's the same case that it's been for Conor for quite a while now. You get out of that first round firefight, and the pop, the zip, everything changes for that guy. We even saw against Floyd Mayweather in their boxing match, the first 3 rounds, Conor had that pop on and that zip on his focus.
I'm sorry. I also got Dustin by submission. Oh my god. I'm so happy.
It's fine. Even in the Nate Diaz fight, we've seen Conor is able to drop guys, able to have that zip on his punches for the first 2 rounds. But when that zip goes, he becomes a very average, predictable fighter. And I'm not really sure what to think about all the pre-fight talk leading up to this fight with like Conor being like, if you take me down, you're a pussy. And like the second you take like just talking about every aspect of MMA that isn't knocking out as not having credence. Like he was like, oh, I only count knockouts as wins. So I'm 19-1 actually.
That's some Sean O'Malley shit that I can't stand.
Yeah. Well, with Sean O'Malley was answering questions about how he's not a Conor wannabe, and it's like they're just kind of sucking each other's dicks.
And
that's fine. One love. Love is love, whatever. Love the one you're with or not with or whatever. But Conor, for me, at this point, every single fight, it's the motivated Conor. Every single fight, it's like, this is a different Conor. Poirier knows after going through the fire now, he knows he can take the best that he has and keep going. I just think the way Dustin won that first fight was undeniable. The leg kicks, the calf kicks are going to be there. What I would be interested in is Dustin's response if Conor starts returning those leg kicks. But we haven't seen Conor really using his kick game since becoming a pro boxer. And having that boxing stance really went against him. Brandon, take it over, man. I got the submission as well, actually. I think that he should take it. I think that's what he should do. And I think that if he takes him down in the second, third round, once Conor has those gas issues come up, Conor taps real quick. Go look at his Joe Duffy loss. Go look at his Nate Diaz loss. And I think we're seeing another rear naked choke from Dustin Poirier here to get back into the title picture. I got Dustin Poirier round 3 submission. We're going to leave the suspense with Bunny for now. Bunny, go ahead and give us your pick. And I will never highlight Elliot, your last comment. Nope, that is false.
I know Elliot. He knows these.
Oh, no, I can tell. Don't worry, Bunny. I can tell.
Written down, Dustin by submission, and hearing you say it and hearing Brandon say it,
I'm saying it for me.
No, I might cry. That's all I'm saying. But
no. So you got, what round do you have your submission in? How do you see this fight going? Do you see it going differently than the first fight, or kind of similarly where McGregor? Okay, how do you see it?
It has all my picks, stupid. I have it going very similar. I think Conor's going to come out right out of the gate, like give it everything he's got in the first round. He'll get tired. Dustin knows it. He knows the strategy. And if you're using their first fight as any sort of ammunition for Conor being the winner, You're out of your mind. They both have completely transformed their game plan. They're completely different fighters from 7 fucking. I need a time machine to view their first fucking fight.
Not in the same weight class either.
Yeah, and oh my god, don't even get me started on the weight class. And how many title defenses does Conor have?
No, we can get you started, please.
No, because I'm
sorry.
I might pass out. But I think that Dustin knows Conor's game plan very well. I don't think Conor's going to do shit with leg kicks, but I also don't think that Dustin's going to do much with the leg kicks. And I'll go all night. Dustin by submission round 2 or 3.
Why is that? Why don't you think you would go to leg kicks after they're so effective?
I just don't think I wasn't prepared for your question.
It's okay. I'm pushing back a little bit. We're in the last fight.
Because I'm so sure of this takedown. I really think that that Dustin will play defense round 1. And, maybe if it comes down to it, he'll try those leg kicks because it was sure as shit for that time. I know. I agree.
No,
I think it's going to come down to stamina and skill. And I think Conor is really good at striking, but I think a lot of it is I think it's like random striking. I don't even know. I'm super biased. But I think
after this fight, regardless, and then I'll get to you, Bryan, for your pick.
Go for it.
Does Conor fight Nate, regardless of the outcome?
Does ever again?
In his next fight, basically.
I don't think so. Just because of Nate's age, dude. I love Nate's one of my favorites. You know that, but I can't. I don't think.
You don't think Nate Diaz gets in there with Conor ever again?
I think the world would love
if Conor loses, yes.
Okay, but not if he wins.
I don't think.
Not if he wins. If he wins, he's definitely fighting for a title. If he wins, there's no way.
Conor? Yeah, no doubt. He'd be fighting.
Whoever wins this fight should have the title, in my opinion.
I think Dustin has the title fight at any point when he wants.
Right.
Yeah, he chose this fight for sure.
Yeah, I think Dustin is in line for a title fight no matter what. Even if he loses to Conor, I'm sorry, he's stock.
He can't get the title shot if he loses the fight to Conor. That doesn't make any sense.
He's not. He can come back. Oh, Bryan's.
I've seen crazier things.
Yeah, but Bryan's standing up. Bryan over the 2-hour mark really turns into a different Bryan.
I guess so.
He's such a sweetheart with his little fucking laugh and everything, just so endearing.
Bryan, who's your fucking pick? You better not say that.
Whew, man, you really want to know my pick?
Oh,
look at him getting off.
You know what? I'm not even gonna play. I'm just gonna say who I'm picking, and then I'm gonna explain it afterwards. I'm picking Dustin Poirier by knockout.
Okay, Jesus.
I'm picking Dustin Poirier by knockout.
The house can stay together, everybody. We're gonna
make
it to Christmas. We're gonna make it to Christmas.
I'll tell you what really, because I was super conflicted on this one. I was like, I'm sure Conor's going to make the adjustments. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a good fight. Really, until Dustin started landing those leg kicks consistently in the first fight, you know what I'm saying? It was in Conor's, it wasn't like a runaway, but it was in Conor's favor. Conor was doing pretty well until he forgot how to check a kick. You know what I'm saying?
There's leg kicks and then a Poirier point that changed everything. When Poirier
as soon as Poirier point, because he counted a punch at the same time too. He was slick with it.
He said, "I got you now." That was a different fight, and I think that's hard to ever turn that momentum around. Honestly,
well,
he's got him.
No, for real, and kind of like what you said earlier, all this stuff Conor's been saying this whole past week has just not been it's been getting other people hyped, but when Conor's just talking random nonsense, like you said, it's like the first person to shoot's a dusty bitch, or I'm in there just to knock people out. It's
that can't be affecting. That doesn't affect Dustin at this point.
Not only does it not affect Dustin, but it's like when Conor was talking shit, but he was breaking people's game down. That was a dangerous Conor. You know what I'm saying? When he's just talking shit to talk shit, that doesn't really do much for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't really know what this means. This doesn't make me feel any more confident in you.
I just think the worst trash talk you can possibly say is, "Don't do the one thing I don't want you to do in the fight coming up."
It's like
it's very It's not like he's like, I set you up and he's gonna have this Duplessis guillotine choke all of a sudden. You know, like that.
Conor by flying triangle, baby.
Yeah, like he's not like.
How ironic would it be, like, especially because Dustin's such a guillotine maniac, like he always goes for guillotines that he never finishes. If Conor McGregor finished a guillotine on
Conor by Von Flue. Conor by Von Flue. Dustin doesn't let go of the guillotine, and you just see him like jam that shoulder into. It's just like, what are you doing?
That would be like the most Conor submission ever. To like,
no offense, but like no offense, but like Francis Carmot in his debut against Alonzo Metafield when he got that guillotine and he would not let go of it, and you could see Metafield set up that Von Flue for 4 minutes. He was like, I'm going to put he's like, my shoulder is going in your throat. Okay, Water Buffalo?
Guillotine defense?
Should have made an airplane
defense. Guillotine defense and Von Flue defense. Because for the
very rudimentary
is let go of the guillotine. That's all you gotta do.
When the guy is moving into side control, you can let go of the guillotine. It's not
as soon as they're out of full guard, let it go. If they're in half guard, let go of the guillotine. Start doing something else. I don't know. I'm done.
But yeah, so I'm glad the family is together here on the Poirier pick. I'm not sure if this breakdown would have ever ended if we disagreed there. So
until the sun came up, dude.
So, like when Bunny was moving off screen and like staring at you from the corner as you were like, she really thought you were about to take Conor and she was about to go off. So which is good. You know, we appreciate the heart. Poirier a -120 favorite right now. Wait to bet Poirier if you're betting Poirier because all the Conor McNugget nut huggers are going to bet Conor to be the favorite. So you might as well bet Dustin as an unnecessary underdog here. He's still the favorite right now. By Saturday, by Saturday, Dustin Poirier will be the betting underdog.
That's where the odds don't come in because if you look at that, that's where this is where betting doesn't. I don't understand because if you look at who Dustin has beaten and how, I don't get at all how he's an underdog.
But Dustin isn't the underdog. Dustin's a favorite right now. The odds makers have it set up, and Dustin is the favorite. But what happens when you have betting open to the masses is not everybody's as smart as me out there. You see people who just go out there and they're like, Conor's fighting. I'm betting Conor. And you get these crazy lines. By the line being already this close, only -130, +110 for Conor, what that really tells you is that this fight, if Dustin and Conor were just random people with not the hype, Dustin would be a 2-1 favorite. Okay. It's only this close because it's Conor McGregor. So again, it's just the name value drives this. It's the same reason why you'll see a Herbert Burns be a -400 favorite against Nate Ledware and then he loses, but people saw Burns and they see Gilbert Burns. It's like, yeah, people just bet on Conor because he's Conor. People bet on these just very popular, highly stylistic guy. And that's where if you use your heart brain a little bit, you can just take advantage and go to the bank. And when I'm betting Dustin Poirier as an underdog on Saturday night in a fight that he won emphatically the last time they came out, in a fight that he's won 4 or 5, like, I'll take that to the bank. That's where you got to just eliminate the hype and look at purely the matchups. So,
I love it.
Like, in your opinion, Bunny, last question I have for you, and it is putting you on the spot, so I hope you're ready. Your fight of the night.
Oh,
you didn't ask Bryan first. I gotta look at my clipboard.
No, Bryan, you can go first, or Bryan, I can go.
Let me look at my clipboard.
I can go. My fight of the night is gonna be Nico Price versus Michelle Pereira. I decided that is just going to be a circus of a fight. Neither guy is going to fight the smart game plan here. Yeah, great point, Brandon. Antonina Shevchenko, another fighter who people see Shevchenko, and she's a -300 favorite in fights where she shouldn't even be the favorite. It's just that name that casual fans. This is where I profit off the casual fans and situations like Conor McGregor fights. But I think Nico Price and Michelle Pereira will be my pick for fight of the night. But there's legit 6 or 7, I think, legit picks on this card. Yeah. I think any fight could be, but Bryan, what's your pick for fight of the night?
My pick is Russian Omar versus Batavares.
The decisionators.
Just because I think those two are just gonna beat the tar out of each other. It's gonna be the fight I'm most excited for, though, is probably Gilbert Burns versus Wonderboy because of the implications of that. Like, that should be.
Yeah, I'm so pumped for it. I mean, I don't say this a lot. I'm excited for the whole card, but I really am excited for the co-main event and main event. It's kind of nice as a hardcore fan to really. Sometimes by the co-main and main event, I'm really kind of gearing down a little bit, like just because I'm so. It's nice to properly ramp up here. It's nice to be able to make a stake during the Jessica I, Jennifer Maia fight. Yeah. Bunny, your fight of the night besides Jessica I and Jennifer Maia.
See, that little star is right next to Nico Price. I have the same fight.
Oh, hey, great minds.
Yeah, but Bryan raises a good point with the co-main event because Wonder Boy coming back against Gilbert Burns. I mean, come on, dude.
And imagine if the main event ends up winning fight of the night. Imagine how crazy that will mean that fight was.
I mean, honestly, that's best case scenario, right? Like if McGregor and Dustin Poirier go out there and have like
put on a war. Like we're talking about 4 round. Buddy just can't. She just her heart is doing best. She's like, I'm not even gonna join y'all on this hypothetical. Like, no, I do not want to see a fight of the night in the main event.
I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but you think there's any world where Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier go to decision and Conor McGregor doesn't get the decision? I'm putting on my conspiracy.
Okay, yeah. Let's not leave. Let's end on recognizing Bunny's shoey. We got a shoey tonight. Bunny had the first shoey on this channel, so shout out to that. We're not going to focus on corrupt judging of Las Vegas. And I can't even look at the reaction. Honestly, I'm too much of an empath to see other people in pain like that. Like even but honestly, this was such a fun show. I hope everybody had a great time watching. I know I had a great time participating with you guys. You are 2 of my favorite people I've met through MMA, especially. I met 2 of my favorite people I've met, and then I was staying through MMA. I didn't mean 2 of my favorite people I met through MMA. So, but also through MMA. But for Aaron the dog, Bryan, anything coming up for you? Obviously, everybody checking out Tough, but anything else coming up for you? Or are you just kind of grinding? You're still working like a full-time job too while you're training, correct?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, man. It's kind of fortunately, the job I have right now is cool. It's nice. It's gratifying work. Like you do it and you're like, oh, that's cool. I did that. But hopefully not too much longer. I'll be, but whatever. Just keep watching Tough. I won. Spoiler alert! I won my first round fight. So
the fuck you did.
Yep.
We got 2 more fights in the first round.
So you could be fighting within 3 weeks. Back on the show.
Potentially. I don't know. It depends on where they throw my fight. I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough.
It'd be very cool.
Yeah, it's been so great seeing you. I still can't get used to hearing your laughs every single episode. And then, it's just I'm really, really proud to do this show with you, man. And Bunny, anything coming up for you? Anything going on with you over on the Boston Comments?
Me? No. Nothing.
Yeah, you.
Just MMA super fanning over here, watching Tough every Tuesday, seeing Bryan battle laugh. Everybody loves your laugh, by the way.
Oh no!
Everyone comments on your laugh.
I need to rewire my brain to change that laugh. I need to.
No, everyone loves it.
Dude, it's fire. It is a fire laugh, absolutely. But yeah, seriously, thank you guys both for coming on. This is such a first of many. I knew that the dog, the bunny, and the bear show would be a success. And frankly, this is more of a success than I was expecting. I was expecting to see a 3-hour mark and us go way off the rails. I think that we had the perfect amount of rails and off the rails here. Seriously, I think the 3 perspectives here are super valuable. I think that it's interesting on how many fights we agreed on, and on this card, how many fights we disagreed on. So thank you guys both for joining me. Thank you, everybody in the comments, for joining me. We're getting this channel to where I would like it, and these are the kind of people who are going to be joining me on these breakdowns. So thanks for making the time, you guys. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the fights. It's going to be an emotional one. We're going to get through it together. For Aaron, for the Pooh Bear, for the bunny. Have a great night and keep taking care of each other out there. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
All right. And we are